Okay, so we're uh we're at Psalms 106 and 39. Thus were they defiled with their own works and went a whoring with their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of the Most High kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred or hated his own inheritance. He hated us for doing this. And he gave them into the hand of the heathen. And they that hated them ruled over them. So all you that want to think that our enemies love us, he said, they that hated us ruled over us. Their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their hand. Our enemies oppressed us, and we were brought into subjection under their hands. Many times did he deliver them when we cried to the Most High. Listen, but they provoked him with their counsel. See, the Most High, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, hearing everything that we're doing. We counseling and provoking the Most High to wrath, and were brought low for their iniquity. For what? For sinning, being wicked, drawing the evil to us, and breaking the Most High's laws, statute, commandments. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction. Listen at this closely. This is solutions. Can't nobody gainsay on this fight. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction when? When he heard their cry. Can't get no clearer than this, people. He regarded our affliction when he heard our cry. And he remembered for them his covenant, which he made with Abraham, Isaac, to Jacob, to the 12 tribes of Israel only, and repented according to the multitude of his mercies. Feel sorry for us. According to the multitude of his mercies. Not getting something we do deserve over and over and over again. He made them also to be pitied of all those that carried them captives. That's what the Most High has the power to do. Save us, O Most High, as we crying out to him. Save us, O Most High, our power, and gather us from among the heathen, to give thanks unto thy holy name and to triumph in thy praise. Blessed be the Most High power of Israel, for everlasting to everlasting, from everlasting to everlasting. And let all the people say, praise ye the Most High. Hallelujah. So that's what we got to do, y'all. Look at Second Ezra, the first chapter. Or the Second Ezra, the first chapter. Second Ezra is the first chapter and the 17th verse. Second Ezra 1 and 17. Where are the benefits that I have done for you? So where are the benefits that I have done for you? When you were hungry and thirsty in the wilderness, did you not cry unto me? Who was hungry and thirsty in the wilderness, did we not cry unto the Most High, saying, why hast thou brought us into this wilderness to kill us? It had been better for us to have served the Egyptians than to die in this wilderness. Then had I pity upon your mournings. Can you hear this? Who can hear this? I mean, I went over this many times. I've said it. Who can really hear this? We talking about getting out of this captivity we're in now? Listen very attentively, because this is very important. You want solutions? This is your solutions right here. You can't do it if you prideful, though. You got to humble yourself before the Most High humble you. Listen. Then had I pity upon you your mournings, and gave you manna to eat. So ye did eat angels' food. See? When ye were thirsty, did I not cleave the rock, and waters flowed out to your field? For the heat I covered you with the leaves of the trees. This is the Most High done for us. I divided among you a fruitful land. I cast out the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Philistines before you. What shall I yet do more for you? said the Most High. Man. But you see the solution, right? Once again, second Esdras 1 and 19. Then had I pity upon your mournings. Then had I pity upon your mournings, your cryings, your weepings. Then had I pity upon your mournings, not mourning, but mournings. A lot of crying to the Most High. A lot of mourning to the Most High. Go to Exodus, the 8th chapter. Exodus, the 8th chapter. Exodus 8 and Exodus 8, and we're going to look at verse 10. Well, let's look at verse 8. We're going to concentrate on verse 12, though. It says, Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, Entreat the Most High, that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifices to the Most High. Remember, the Most High was hardening his heart, his mind. But he said, hey, get rid of these frogs. Remember, the Most High put 10 plagues on the Egyptians who was in captivity under them. And Moses said unto Pharaoh, Glory over you. When shall I entreat for thee, and for thy servants, and for thy people, to destroy the frogs from thee and thy houses, that they may remain in the river only? And he said, Tomorrow. And he said, Be it according to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like unto the Most High our power. Frogs everywhere. Can you imagine that? You see it in movies. Frogs everywhere. And he entreated Moses and Aaron that he would go to the Most High to get rid of it. He know that the Most High is the only one that could do that. Verse 11, And the frogs shall depart from thee, and from thy houses, and from thy servants, and from thy people. They shall remain in the river only. They're going to go back to the river only. Verse 12, And Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh. Listen what they did. And Moses cried unto the Most High because of the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. And the Most High did according to the word of Moses, because he heard his cry. And the frogs died out of the houses, out of the villages, and out of the fields. They gathered them together upon heaps, and the land stank. But when Pharaoh saw that there was respite, he hardened his heart, and hearkened not unto them, as the Most High had said. The Most High kept hardening his heart so he could bring these plagues upon these Egyptians and show his power, get him a name. That's what he's going to do in his kingdoms. He's going to get him a name. He's going to be all in all in the end, though. Believe this. Exodus 14. Exodus 14. This is when Pharaoh started chasing us with his chariots and his soldiers. Once he had let us go, once the Most High killed his firstborn son and killed every firstborn of the Egyptians. Look at Exodus 14 and 8. And the Most High hardened the heart, was the mind of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with an high hand, but the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea, beside Pi-hahiroth, before Baal-zephon. And when Pharaoh drew nigh or near, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. Can you imagine that? You done left slavery and you're looking at, here they come after us, put us back in slavery. And they were so afraid. It made them afraid. See, they were afraid of men. Now the scriptures say they be afraid of man, but they ain't afraid of the Most High. They be all afraid of a man. Oh no, here they come. Most High is the one that hardened his heart in the first place. That's why I tell you in Ecclesiastes 23 and 19, such a man only feared the eyes of men. See, they was afraid. They got afraid of men. And knoweth not that the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. So like I say, the Most High's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, considering everything that we do, and the secrets that you do, thinking you get away with nothing, something. You ain't getting away with nothing. Exodus 14 and 11. And they said unto Moses, because there were, well, let's read verse 10. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were so afraid. And the children of Israel cried unto the Most High. You see that? Children of Israel cried unto the Most High. They're afraid. So they cried to the Most High. They scared. Now they cried to the Most High. And they said unto Moses, because there is no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, leave us alone, Moses, that we may serve the Egyptians? Leave us alone, we can serve our captors, the Egyptians, these Hamites. Would it have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness? Man, cold, ain't it? That's our people, though. But you see what we did? We cried unto the Most High. We got afraid, then we cried unto the Most High. That's why we bring it on home for you, so just in case you think you can just go about and don't, all of a sudden, when it come down on you, then you're going to cry to him? Listen what he's going to tell you. Go to Proverbs, the first chapter. Verse 7. Proverbs 1 and 7. The fear of the Most High, to be afraid, to be scared of the Most High, respect the Most High, is the beginning of knowledge. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. You get instruction right now of what works. And I dare any of you challenge what it is that's coming out, say it don't work. It's not going to work with scriptures, some other way. Listen, the fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge. And I'm not boasting, I just know this is a fact. It's point blank. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. Verse 24, because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. His hand is man. And I'm stretching out my hand. I'm stretching out my hand to you. And you, Most High stretches out his hand, which is man, through me right now, through the Spirit of the Most High. And no man regardeth, but ye have said it not. All my counsel, this is a counsel, straight up, from the Most High, telling you what works. Now you want to disregard it if you want to. That's on you. But you have said it not. You say, what I'm bringing forth is nothing. His word that I'm bringing forth is nothing. All my counsel, and with none of my reproof. You ain't want to be reproved through this word. He said, hey, I also will laugh at your calamity. That's what he gonna do. Don't wait till the last minute and say, oh, I'm gonna cry to him. No, it's too late now. He already know. Remember, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Looking at all the things you're doing. And even your secret things you're doing. And whatever you saying or whatever you thinking. You say, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. See? You still gonna make fun of you when your fear cometh. Since you don't have the fear now, you don't want to do what he say do now. You don't want to cry to the Most High now for our condition. If it ain't you, it's somebody else in our nation that's in a bad condition. That should make you sad. Make you have to cry to the Most High for the condition that we in. And what's happening to us. What's happening to families and so forth. When your fear cometh as desolation, when he start destroying everything, you're taking everything you have, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, you send tornado or earthquake or anything to destroy whatever you have, like a whirlwind would do, a tornado would do, a hurricane would do. Comes as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then shall they call upon me. It's too late then. That's all I'm telling you, it's too late. But I will not answer. Hear that? Then they're going to cry unto me. He said, but I ain't going to answer. They shall seek me early, but they will not find me. For that they hated knowledge, you hated the fear of the Most High. You ain't afraid of him. You ain't scared of him. You don't respect him. And did not choose the fear of the Most High. They were none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of their fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. So he letting you know you on your own. That's what he's telling you. You on your own. Solutions are here, but you on your own. Exodus 15. We got a power, y'all. His name is Yahweh. Exodus 15. Verse 23. Exodus 15 and 23. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah, bitter. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? And we just read about the Apocrypha. Moses already told us what he did in the wilderness. Here we are in the wilderness. The people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? It's your fault, Moses. What we going to drink? The water's bitter. What we going to drink? Verse 25, and he cried unto the Most High. And the Most High showed him a tree. He cried to the Most High. Crying to the Most High. The Most High showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. So cast his tree into the waters made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken, listen to the voice of the Most High thy power, and will do that which is right in his sight, keeping his law, statutes, commandments, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Most High that healeth thee. Say we do what he say do, his rules and regulations. He said, I ain't gonna put none of the diseases that he put upon the Egyptians. And here we are now in this last days. You got all these plagues that he had back in the day coming on the earth now, man. And then some. Better understand and overstand. The verdict is something else. Exodus 17, but we still looking at crying to the Most High. What works? Solutions. Exodus 17, chapter. Start at verse 1. Concentrate on verse 4. And all the congregations of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys, according to the commandment of the Most High, and pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people did chide with Moses, arguing with Moses, and going off on Moses, and said, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt the Most High? And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses, and said, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of the Egypt to kill us, and our children and our cattle with thirst? So you brought us out of Egypt to kill us, and our children and cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto the Most High, saying, what shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. So what am I going to do with these people, man? He cried to the Most High. If they ready to stone me, he felt that pressure. You know how we can be. They already said they rather stayed in Egypt in captivity, served them rather than be out in the wilderness, going through what they was going through. But he said, what shall I do unto this people? Cry to the Most High. They be almost ready to stone me. They about ready to kill me, stone me to death. And the Most High said to Moses, go on before the people and take with thee of the elders of Israel and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river, take in thine hand and go. Before I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did in the sight of the elders of Israel, and he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Most High, saying, is the Most High among us or not? Say, tempting them. Cold-blooded, boy. He told him to strike the rock, right? Strike the rock. That time he struck the rock, and the water came forth. Look at Numbers, the 20th chapter. You got to hear what's happening here, because it's very important. Listen, is a responsibility. It's an art of responsibility, I always say. So, Numbers, the 20th chapter, let's start at verse 7. This is another case scenario. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock. That's why I listen to art of responsibility. First time he told him what? Hit the rock. This time he said, speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water. So this is not Moses. This is somebody speaking to Moses, which is the angel of the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High, who you know as Mashiach Yahushua in the flesh, but he's an angel. You understand? That's why, listen, why he say, bring forth my water if it's the Most High? Speaking to Moses, listen, somebody's talking to Moses and telling him, and it is, if you go to Exodus 3 and 2, you'll see who it is. Exodus 3 and 2. And the angel of the Most High appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. That's the angel of the Most High, speaking to Moses still. The Spirit of the Most High, which is in Genesis, the first chapter, the second verse, started to create everything. The Most High said, create all things by Mashiach Yahushua. So here it is. He said, that's why I say you got to understand that he's speaking for the Most High. Because who would have said it'll bring forth my water? Why don't say that? They don't say that because it's somebody speaking for the Most High, and that's an angel. Always. Numbers 20 and 8. Take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock. It's very important. It says, speak ye unto the rock before their eyes. Speak in front of the rock before all the congregation of Israel's eyes. They can see you speaking to this rock before their eyes. And it shall give forth his water. So this is someone speaking for the Most High. So he's going to bring forth his water. That's the angel of the Most High, or Mashiach Yahushua as a spirit. It shall bring forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation, and there be strength. And Moses took the rod from before the Most High, as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, how now? Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? That's dangerous. He already told them. In verse 8, take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water. But what did Moses? That's why I say, listen, is an art and responsibility. But what did Moses say? Israel's getting on this nerve. What did he say? Verse 10 of Numbers, the 20th chapter. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we, that's him and Aaron, fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. Bam, bam. What did he do wrong? Moses told him through the angel of the Most High, speak to the rock. It's going to bring forth his water. But he already said, must we bring forth water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice. Bam, bam. Instead of speaking to the rock, as he was told, in order to. And the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron, because ye believe me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel. That's why I say you got to give all glory to the Most High. The Most High's name is jealous. Hear what he said? Because ye believe me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Most High, and he was sanctified in them. See, you understand? After that, Most High killed Aaron. Look at verse 25. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up unto Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. Say, take Aaron's garment off and put it on Eleazar his son. And Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. And Moses did as the Most High commanded, and they went up into Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there in the top of the mount. And Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount. And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel. Killed him right there. That's what I'm saying. You got to really look at this and pay attention, because Moses was a man that spake with the Most High mouth to mouth, he said. He wasn't like no other man. So who are we to think that we got it going on? Listen, go to Deuteronomy 34th chapter. Moses told Moses in verse 4. Deuteronomy 34:4, he said, And the Most High said unto him, This is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob. Showed him all the lands that the Israelites going to be living in, saying, I will give it unto thy seed. I have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go over it thither. So you can see it with your eyes, but you're not going into that land that I'm giving to the 12 tribes of Israel. So Moses, the servant of the Most High, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Most High. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth-beer, but no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day. See, Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated. He had his strength. His eyes wasn't dim. So, but you see, that's very important. I just went through that scenario to show you what works. Solutions, better get the Most High to praise. Don't be playing around with the Most High. Believe this. Look, Exodus 34:14. But thou shalt worship no other power. And don't do nothing that the Most High say don't do. For the Most High, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power. You know, you're going to hit the rock, say, must we bring forth water from this rock? And he told you to speak to the rock. Going to bring forth his water. And you're going to hit the rock and say, must we fetch water from this rock? Kill Aaron first. Then kill Moses. Just a moment.